The alarm resonated across HFY Prime, its piercing sound reverberating through the crystal towers that stretched toward the purple heavens. Council Speaker Zixer hurried down the corridor, his 6 legs moving with uncharacteristic urgency. The usually vibrant blue of his scales had deepened, a clear sign of unease gripping his people. The Galactic Council had not convened an emergency. Meeting in over 3 centuries, the last instance being when the Krathan Empire had threatened a thriving trade world. But this was different. This was far more dire. Zixer entered the vast chamber where representatives from 47 alien species were assembling. The room's design accommodated beings of every conceivable shape and size. Some floated in liquid-filled tanks. Others hovered with natural flight, and a few relied on mechanical suits to survive the chamber's atmosphere. Friends and allies. Zixer began, his voice amplified across the chamber. We face an unprecedented crisis. Sensors have detected a grave threat from the galaxy's outer rim. Military Advisor Quindor stepped forward, his thick black armor displaying concern with its etched markings. A Krathan warrior, once a foe to the Council, but now its staunch defender. Quindor's voice was heavy with foreboding. The energy readings are immense, he announced. Our scientists have verified them thrice. Incoming vessel measures over 12 kilometers in length, and its power output eclipses our entire combined fleet. A stunned silence fell. The Alteran delegate, a jellyfish-like being, pulsed in panicked hues. The insectoid Vexani clicked their mandibles anxiously, while the Tirana species, renowned for their courage, shifted uneasily. How is this possible? Asked Delegate Morton of the Centauri Federation. Our largest ships are barely a kilometer long. What civilization constructs such monstrosities? Quindor activated the main display, revealing a reconstructed image from sensor data. The vessel's deadly silhouette, bristling with weapons and armored plating, froze the chamber in collective dread. This object hails from a system our maps. Label as Sol, Quindor explained. Records deemed it uninhabited, but clearly they were mistaken. This species has forged what can only be described as a planet destroyer. Elder Kifta, seated in her energy chair, floated forward. At over 800 years old, she was the chamber's living repository of galactic history. Her frail voice wavered. I have studied the ancient myth stories of world eaters and star killers. Vessels vast enough to obliterate entire systems. We dismiss them as mere fables. What do we know of this species from Sol 3? Pressed the Nexari Prime Minister, his tentacles twitching in apprehension. Science Coordinator Valak scanned her datapad, her numerous eyes flicking over the screen. Tragically little, she admitted. Our charts depict it as a mundane star system with several rocky planets. Our surveys... Primitive life had been the only indication from Sol 3, yet these beings had concealed their true might. Could they be refugees? The Alteran delegate offered, their jellyfish-like form glowing hopefully. Perhaps this massive vessel is an evacuation effort for their entire population. Quindor shook his plated head. A refugee ship would need so many weapon systems. This is a warship unlike anything the galaxy has seen. The chamber erupted into a cacophony of fearful voices as delegates spoke in their native languages. The universal translators struggled to convert the overlapping dialogue, but the emotion was unmistakable fear. What are our options? Zixer demanded, his amplified voice restoring a semblance of order. Negotiation, suggested a diplomat from the Peaceful Worlds Alliance, could offer tribute or surrender before they arrive. Surrender to what? Barked a Krathan war leader. You don't even know their intent. They could strip our worlds. For resources? Enslave us? Or worse? Can we fight them? Asked another delegate. Quindor reviewed the data, his forearms twitching. The Council's fleet has nearly 10,000 ships combined, but this single vessel could obliterate us. Shields produce more energy than any of our capital ships. Then we flee, Elder Kifta murmured. Gotta evacuate the systems in its path and pray it doesn't stop. Where could we go? The Nexari Prime Minister asked, his tentacles trembling. If they built one ship like this, they can build more? They'll find us eventually. A heavy silence descended, the weight of the truth sinking in. For millennia. The Galactic Council thrived on diplomacy and exploration. Their ships weren't made for this. How long do we have? Zixer asked. 72 standard hours, Quinder replied grimly. Its trajectory leads to the Kepler 442 Systaman XRE homeworld. My people, ... The Nexari Prime Minister whispered, standing on his four legs, his fur bristling with terror. No one had an answer. They could only wait as the massive human warship approached, its purpose unknown but terrifying. On board the Goliath, Captain Jake Morrison stood at the bridge's center, hands gripping the rail as he gazed out at the stars through the panoramic viewing window. The bridge spanned 100 meters. Bustling with crew members at their stations, lights blinked across control panels, and the hum of the engines reverberated beneath his boots. All systems are green, called Chief Engineer Lisa Carter from the rear. Her voice carried across the vast space. Fusion reactors stable. Jump drive. Ready? Jake nodded and turned to the main screen dominating the bridge. Stars sparkled like diamonds against the void, and Earth's blue curve was visible in the distance. The Goliath, for 12 kilometers long, was humanity's crowning achievement. Its hull, a fortress of dark gray metal, bristled with weapons, sensors, and docking bays. Inside, 50,000 crew members lived and worked in a self-sufficient city among the stars. Rodriguez, any updates from Earth Command? Jake asked, moving to the CUM station where Danny Rodriguez worked, surrounded by displays. Admiral Brooks is ready, sir, Danny replied, adjusting his headset. She's waiting for your signal to begin the mission. Jake surveyed the bridge one last time. Its crew, elite members of Earth's military and space programs, had trained for 2 years for this mission. Veterans of Mars colonies and patrol fleets, they were the best humanity had to offer. Put the Admiral on screen, Jake ordered. The view of space shifted to Admiral Helen Brooks. Seated in her office at Earth Command, her gray hair was pulled back, her uniform adorned with decades of service. Behind her, officers monitored the Goliath's first mission. Captain Morrison, she said, her voice firm yet reassuring. Does it feel to command humanity's greatest creation? Jake allowed. A small smile. Feels like a tremendous responsibility, Admiral. This ship could take on an entire alien fleet if we must. I hope we won't, Jake replied. That's why we built her, Admiral Brooks said firmly. We don't know what's out there. It's hostile aliens with technology far beyond ours could exist. The Goliath gives us a fighting chance. Ship's design addressed every conceivable threat. Its primary weapons could obliterate mountain-sized asteroids. Its shields could withstand nuclear blasts, and its armor was impervious to known weaponry. Military planners had scoured science fiction to predict potential enemies humanity might encounter among the stars. Science Officer Phillips, report on our destination, Jake called. Ryan Phillips looked up from his station, surrounded by charts and readings. Kepler 442 is 37 light-years from Earth, Captain. 6 months ago, long-range sensors detected artificial signals from the system, indicating advanced technology, possibly from multiple civilizations. Jake's pulse quickened. After centuries of wondering, humanity was about to learn it wasn't alone. The signals were unmistakably artificial, proof of intelligent life. Navigator Chen, plot our course, he ordered. Amy Chen's fingers flew over her controls. Course plotted, Captain. Jump will take 6 hours with the hyperspace drive. Dr. Turner, is your team ready for first contact? Jake asked. Dr. Ben Turner nodded eagerly. Captain, we've prepared for every scenario we could think of. We have translation programs, biological scanners, and diplomatic protocols ready. We're as prepared as we can be. Jake returned to his command chair, the central seat offering a view of the entire bridge. As a child, he had dreamed of this moment. Now the immense responsibility weighed heavily. The Goliath wasn't just a ship, it was humanity's ambassador to the stars. All stations, prepare for jump, Jake announced, his voice echoing through the ship. Across the vessel, 50,000 crew members secured themselves for the leap into hyperspace. Admiral Brooks, we are ready to depart, Jake reported. Good luck, Captain, she replied. Bring us back some friends. The main screen shifted to the star-filled void ahead. The ship's engines hummed, vibrations resonating through its massive frame. The jump drive, a marvel of human ingenuity bent. Space to enable faster-than-light travel. Jump drive at full power, Lisa Carter confirmed. All systems ready. Take us to the stars, Jake commanded. With a flash of blue light, the Goliath vanished from Earth's solar system, leaving the planet. To its steady rotation, humanity's greatest ship was on its way to make an unforgettable introduction to the galaxy. Sensitive alien sensors, cross-star systems detected the Goliath's energy signature. Civilizations looked to their skies with awe and fear, unaware that humanity was coming to say hello. The Goliath emerged from hyperspace at the Kepler 442. System's edge in another blue flash, illuminating the darkness. Jake steadied himself as the ship's artificial gravity normalized. "Jump complete, Captain," Amy Chen announced. "All systems normal. We're in Kepler 442. Jake stared at the screen. A golden star was surrounded by planets, too glowing with the blue and green hues of life. Smaller moons orbited them, and faint sparkles hinted at satellites or stations. "Science Officer Phillips, what do you see?" Jake asked, approaching the science station. "It's extraordinary," Ryan replied, excitement in his voice. "I'm detecting at least 12 civilizations in this system, cities on 3 planets, space, stations orbiting to others, and mining operations on several moons. One system with 12 civilizations cooperating?" Jake marveled. "That's more harmony than we've ever achieved in our own system." "It gets better," Ryan continued. "Their technology is advanced fusion reactors, artificial gravity, and faster-than-light travel. Their communication networks suggest they've been spacefaring for ages," said Dr. Turner. As Lieutenant Kate Sullivan glanced up from her console with a puzzled expression, "Captain, something's odd." "I'm not picking up any radio chatter. A system with this many civilizations should have thousands of signals, radio, television, or satellite transmissions. But there's nothing. It's completely silent." Jake frowned. On Earth, early radio technology had filled the atmosphere with constant signals. A system harboring 12 advanced civilizations should have been buzzing with electronic noise. "Perhaps they use a communication technology we can't recognize," Turner suggested from the xenobiology station. "Or maybe they've noticed us and are staying silent on purpose," Jake said thoughtfully. "Navigator Chen, take us toward the most populated planet. Let's see if we can prompt a response." The Goliath advanced deeper into the system, its vast shadow briefly blotting out smaller celestial bodies. As the ship's sensors scanned the surroundings, they pieced together a vivid image of the alien civilizations. "Captain, tech specialist." Chris Morgan called from the engineering station. "The ship's AI has detected something unusual. There are thousands of smaller vessels scattered throughout the system. But they're all powered down, no engines, weapons, or life support running." Jake raised an eyebrow. "Powered down, all of them?" "Yes, sir. The AI estimates over 5,000 ships, all inactive as if they shut down simultaneously." "That's peculiar behavior," Turner commented, furrowing his brow. "Why would an entire fleet go dark at once?" The Goliath neared the main planet identified by Ryan Phillips as having the largest population. As they drew closer, Jake saw sprawling cities covering continents, their glittering lights resembling jewels against the planet's surface. "Distance to the planet?" Jake asked. 50,000 kilometers in closing," Amy Chen reported. "They should be fully visible to their sensors now." "Still no communications," Kate Sullivan said. "I've broadcasted on every frequency, math sequences, prime numbers, even visual signals. Nothing." Jake's unease deepened. In every science fiction story, aliens either attacked or communicated immediately. This complete silence was unnerving. "Maybe a different approach," suggested Nicole Parker, the diplomatic attach observing quietly. At the back of the bridge. "What if we launch a small shuttle? Single person in a tiny craft might seem less threatening than this massive warship." "Not a bad idea," Jake agreed. "Commander Johnson, ready a diplomatic shuttle. Take Ambassador Stone with you and approach the planet slowly. Use every peaceful signal in the book." Commander Steve Johnson nodded, heading to the shuttle bay, with Ambassador Rachel Stone close behind, her diplomatic kit in hand. They had trained for years in first contact scenarios, rehearsing with actors simulating alien behavior. As the Goliath moved into orbit, its enormous shadow-blanketed mountain ranges below, briefly shortening the day in those regions. "Shuttle bay ready for launch," the ship's AI, Samantha Hayes, announced in her calm, even tone. "Launch when ready," Jake ordered. A small hatch opened on the Goliath, and a tiny shuttle emerged. Against the colossal warship, it looked like an insect escaping a metallic leviathan. Its engines glowed faintly as it descended toward the planet's atmosphere. "Captain," Ryan Phillips called urgently from the science station. "Massive power surges detected on the planet's surface. Emergency systems are coming online across all continents." "Emergency systems?" Jake asked sharply. "Defensive shields? Underground?" "Bunkers. Communication blackouts," Ryan explained grimly. "Sir, I think they're preparing for war." Jake stared at the main screen, watching the tiny shuttle approach the dazzling alien world. He'd come hoping for peace, to meet humanity's first neighbors among the stars. Instead, the aliens seemed convinced humanity was bringing war to their doorstep. "This isn't going as planned," Jake muttered, wondering how to prove humanity's peaceful intentions. Deep beneath the capital, city of Next Prime, Prime Minister Velter stood in the emergency command center, his forelegs trembling. The alien warship loomed in orbit like a second moon, its colossal presence a constant reminder of the threat above. "How many citizens have reached the shelters?" Velter asked his emergency coordinator. "Approximately 85%, Commander Zephanac reported, sweat staining his uniform from the frantic evacuation. "But supplies will only last a few days." Velter glanced at the display screen showing the massive ship. Its hull bristled with weaponry, each port capable of leveling entire cities. "What about the other planets in the system?" "The Altarians have submerged their floating cities," Zephanac replied. "The Vexani have sealed their hive cities, and the mining colonies are pretending to be lifeless rocks. The Galactic Council is monitoring, but has offered no aid. They deem this foe too powerful." Velter closed his eyes, trying to steady his breath. His people were traders and artists, not warriors. Their ships were built for transport, not combat. "Minister," called sensor operator Lihera, her voice tense. "The alien ship is opening a bay door." Everyone turned to the screen, watching as a small opening appeared on the warship's side. A tiny craft emerged, growing larger as it descended. "It's an attack craft," Zephanac declared grimly. "Likely a test for our defenses before the main assault." "No," Lihara countered, studying her readings. "It's too small for a fighter. Its movements are cautious, not aggressive." Velter watched the small vessel descend, knowing even this diminutive craft could devastate his capital. "Maybe it's a scout," suggested another officer. "Gathering data on our cities and defenses?" "Or a weapon," Zephanac added darkly. "A bomb or a plague." On the surface, millions of Nexari citizens huddled in shelters and reinforced basements. Parents whispered prayers to ancient gods, while elders recalled stories of wars long past. But nothing had prepared them for this. Commander Steve Johnson guided the shuttle through the atmosphere, marveling at the planet's beauty. Cities sparkled like constellations, but something felt off. There were no ships in the skies, no vehicles on the roads, no movement at all. "Ambassador Stone, are you seeing this?" Steve asked his passenger. Rachel Stone peered through the window. "It's like the entire planet is deserted. Where is everyone?" "Maybe they're indoors," Steve suggested. "Different species, different routines. Maybe it's their sleep cycle." Chris. Morgan had pushed the communication arrays to maximum power, broadcasting peaceful greetings. "Increase the signal strength again," Jake ordered. "It might be using frequencies we haven't identified." Chris adjusted the transmitters, sending amplified messages. The Goliath's powerful arrays lit up, broadcasting across all frequencies. On the planet, electronic devices within 1,000 kilometers flickered and died. Lights, communication networks, even simple locks ceased functioning. The transmission had overwhelmed their technology with sheer power in the command center. Emergency power restored minimal functionality, but half their systems remained offline. "They're jamming us," Zephanac exclaimed. "This is it there." Preparing to attack, Lihar's voice trembled. "Their communication system is so powerful it knocked out our grid. They're showing us how easily they could destroy us." Velter slumped in his chair, the weight of his civilization's survival crushing him. The aliens could cripple them unintentionally. What could they do on purpose? Meanwhile, Steve Johnson guided the shuttle toward a landing site near the largest city. "Landing site confirmed," he reported. "No hostile activity detected. Preparing for touchdown." The shuttle settled on a wide plaza in the city's heart. Steve and Rachel donned environmental suits, preparing for first contact. They couldn't know that terrified aliens were watching from underground. Convinced they were witnessing the end of their civilization, Rachel Stone stepped onto the plaza, her boots clicking against smooth stone. The alien city was stunning spires, twisting skyward like frozen waterfalls, their surfaces shifting with light. But it was eerily silent. "Commander Johnson," Rachel said into her radio, "this doesn't feel right. Where is everyone? There should be people, noise life. It's strange." "The entire city feels like it's holding its breath," Rachel murmured. Scanning the eerily silent plaza, inside the shuttle, Steve Johnson monitored his instruments. "Ambassador, I'm detecting millions of life signs all underground. Basements, tunnels, bunkers. They're hiding." Rachel moved cautiously toward a building that seemed to be a government center. Its graceful architecture exuded peace, with soft curves and welcoming colors. Yet the sealed doors and darkened windows told a story of fear, deep underground. Prime Minister Velter stared at the security feeds that had survived the EMP. The alien was smaller than he'd imagined. On two legs and clad in what appeared to be protective armor, "It's exploring," Zephanac said grimly. "Looking for weaknesses, perhaps, or studying our technology before the invasion." "Wait," Lihara interjected, her focus on the scanner. "This being isn't wearing armor." "That's an environmental suit." "An environmental suit?" Velter repeated. Puzzled, double quotes, "Yes, Prime Minister. It's breathing a different atmosphere than ours. And look at its movements. Cautious, almost hesitant. This isn't how an invader behaves." Above, Rachel examined what appeared to be a communication terminal embedded in the building's wall. Its design suggested it was a public information system. The alien symbols were indecipherable, but their arrangement implied a logic. "Steve, I'm going to try something," Rachel said, producing a compact translation device. The device was pre-programmed with universal mathematical concepts and visual cues designed for interspecies communication. She connected it to the terminal and began transmitting basic sequences, prime numbers, geometric shapes, and simple equations. Humanity's universal language below ground, alarms blared in the command center. "It's accessing our network," Zephanac exclaimed. "It could be trying to seize control of our systems." "Wait," Lihara interrupted, analyzing the incoming data. "Wait," Lihara exclaimed, her voice filled with excitement. "Look at this data. These are mathematical concepts, prime numbers, geometric shapes. It's exactly what our scientists theorized we should send if we ever encountered alien intelligence. Velter's gaze locked on the patterns streaming across his screen. They were undeniably the work of an intelligent mind attempting communication. You mean, it's trying to talk to us? It seems so, Prime Minister Lihara confirmed. And here she highlighted another section. These symbols appear to represent the creature itself. I think it's introducing itself. Meanwhile, aboard the Goliath, Captain Morrison's concern for his landing party grew. Any updates from Ambassador Stone? He asked Lieutenant Sullivan. She's been trying to make contact for over an hour, sir, Kate replied. Still no response from the planet's government. Maybe we need a new approach, Dr. Turner suggested. What if we broadcast a straightforward message about who we are and why we're here? Jake nodded. Do it. Send something simple: Earth, humanity, peace, and friendship. The Goliath's powerful transmitters began their broadcast. Mathematical sequences, images of the solar system, and depictions of Earth, its oceans, continents, and skies. Human figures and universal symbols of peace followed. Open hands, flowers, music notes, and equations. In Next Prime's underground bunkers, every operational device displayed the transmission. Velter watched, astonished, as the images unfolded. The aliens, who called themselves humans, came from a star system with one yellow sun and 9 planets. They revealed their world of blue oceans and green continents, their bipedal forms with smooth skin and expressive eyes. Most importantly, their message radiated peace. They're not invaders, Velter whispered, wonder in his voice. Explorers. But, Prime Minister, Zephanak protested, look at the size of their ship. No peaceful species builds something that colossal, Lihar interjected, her analysis deepening. Actually, Commander, I think I understand. Look at their star system. They're alone a single species on a solitary planet. Had no idea what awaited them beyond their world. What are you suggesting? Velter asked. They built that enormous ship because they were afraid, Lihara explained. They didn't know if they'd meet peaceful traders like us, hostile warriors, or something even worse. They prepared for the worst possible scenario, Lihara concluded. Velter stared at the screen displaying the human ambassador, still patiently attempting to communicate. You mean they're as scared of us as we are of them? More scared, probably, Lihara replied. They're alone millions of light years from home. That massive warship isn't a tool of conquest. It's a mobile fortress built by a species too fearful to explore the galaxy with anything smaller. The weight of realization struck Velter like a physical blow. Humanity's enormous ship wasn't a symbol of aggression. It was one of profound vulnerability. They had over-engineered it out of sheer terror, unsure of the dangers lurking among the stars. Open a communication channel, Velter ordered, his voice resolute. It's time we introduced ourselves properly. On the surface, Rachel Stone nearly jumped when the alien terminal flickered to life, emitting light and sound. A voice followed, melodious and alien, with her translator quickly working to convert it into English. Greetings, human explorer, the translated voice said. We are the Nexari. We welcome you to our world. We're sorry we hid, we thought you came to conquer. We didn't realize you came in peace. Tears streamed down Rachel's face inside her helmet. After centuries of wondering if humanity was alone in the universe, here she was, speaking to intelligent beings from another world. Greetings, Nexari, Rachel replied, her voice trembling. We are humans from the planet Earth. We come in peace, and we're overjoyed to meet you. High above, Captain Morrison received the news. First contact had been successful. Weren't enemies, but potential friends, simply terrified by humanity's defensive approach to exploration, as word spread throughout the Galactic Council. Alien civilizations began reevaluating their fear of humanity's imposing warship. Perhaps these cautious, over-prepared humans could be invaluable allies in a galaxy fraught with danger. The Goliath had arrived for first contact. In doing so, humanity had inadvertently established itself as one of the galaxy's most impressive defensive powers, not bad for a species that just wanted to explore the stars safely.